everybody. Let me see. It says you're live. So we
Yeah.
are live. And so let's see. I want to get that. There we are. So how is everybody? Good
Hi,
to see everyone.
everyone.
Bosto in favor.
Yes.
Big hugs to everybody. We need it these days because it's a wild world, Sky Pilot.
I don't have a bear. I just
Well,
have
that's all right. We can do a substitute. You got a crystal. All
Oh,
right.
that works. That works.
As
It's
Jim
not as
Morrison would
soft,
say,
but
light my fire, baby. That's you get the crystalline into that. So welcome everyone. I just want to thank all the moderators. We're getting a full house in here.
Hi,
Ladies,
everyone.
is really excellent. I'm trying to, YouTube just constantly messes with us,
Oh, always.
Always. So now I got this theater screen and I'm going, but I don't want this. But anyway, I digress. So what's going on, Miss Trina?
Not a lot. Just riding this crazy wave of energy, and it appears everybody has been having a little bit of struggles with it. So it's been a rocky road. I'll be glad when it lifts a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I keep getting like this is like Marsha was saying, there's something about this time, about the Easter holiday and this timeline. There's April Fool's Day. There's something about that I keep seeing, like this is the actual official beginning of the Aquarian age, because it starts in Aries. So the equinox would be the true like ushering in of this age. So I don't know if that's right or not, but I have a feeling this is it.
Feelings are important. And
yeah, I think that's why it was so rocky right before too, and this full moon was so powerful. So a lot of energy is moving and clearing, and it's about what we think. So think what you want to see, guys. Focus intently.
I'll tell you, and that moon, by the way, Marsha, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hi, Marsha.
Energy from this moon, it has caused me severe headaches for like 4 days in a row. Really lucid dreams, crazy dreams. So,
I am right there with you. And I by the way, I found my suitcase and I was on my way to the airport. So whatever that dreams were about, apparently I accomplished it. But I was out.
Wayne, you know what that means in my dream book?
What's that?
That means you're getting ready to go to the higher dimensions.
Oh, well,
that's why you take off in the clouds. You go into the aircraft, you go up, you're going
now,
up.
it's interesting that you say that, because in one of my dreams, I did something I haven't done in decades. I was flying again, folks.
Yay!
I was in a room conversation and I decided that, I said, well, this will be really cool. Watch this. And I just literally levitated myself up and there I was again. So, yeah. And the moon 2 nights ago, when it was at its peak fullness in the southwest sky, it was so bright. I mean, I had to put on sunglasses.
Wow.
When a moon is that bright, folks, and I mean, of course, I'm thinking of Cat Stevens. I'm being followed by a moon shadow, and I'm going, yeah, yeah. So anyway,
wow.
Strangeness abounds. So welcome everyone. Hey, David Castle. There's so many people in here. Alien Believer, Raven, good to see you. Nina, how are you doing? How's your back healing up? And there is Miss Jenny. We send you healing, Nina. I was thinking about you earlier and was sending you some, because we now know that this is not just, how shall we say, frivolous. You can project your emotions onto others a long ways. There's Robert V's in the house.
Hi,
Gaia
Robert.
is in the house. Hey,
hi, Gaia.
So good to see everyone. Susie Q.
Love you guys.
It's so good to get together. Marsha, I'm glad you came on, because this topic is and it's been discussed many times and in many different ways. Isn't there like Merry Christmas after that? I don't know. Did y'all get the something was hitting my head? I'm going, wait a minute, but it is snowing here, so
it's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It was 75 degrees yesterday.
That's what I mean. I'm like, it's so crazy.
And I mean, I was like, well, I love snow. So
Yeah, and it's snowing there, and it's literally so beautiful here, and we're not that far away from each other. So I'm like,
no.
it's crazy because it's like 75 degrees and beautiful here. So yeah, weird.
Is it the scarecrow in the Wizard of Oz that says unusual weather we're having here?
Right?
Isn't it? It's true. Very
Right.
true. I mean, and of course, we were discussing prior to going live here. I have the app from Suspicious Observer. So when there's any type of space weather or, with earthquakes, etc., it alerts you. So I was in the kitchen and all of a sudden we got an alert that, there was I think it was a 4.5 up at the Buford Sea, which is actually the Buford Gyre. And very unusual because they don't get one. But what makes it even more unusual, if that gyre lets loose, which it hasn't for about 7 or 8 years, we can kiss this summer goodbye. We'll be seeing snow in June and July. Anyway.
That'll be so weird.
I won't be happy about that.
I won't either.
Yeah.
I like the sun. And it's snowing in Phoenix, and that's weird. It never snows here. It's snowing here. I go to work and I'm like, it's snowing. What is going on?
I'm telling you, and it's the day after tomorrow scenario, and it won't happen like overnight, but it's been building, and when that releases, yeah.
I'm seeing it. I'm like, it's snow on the cactus. I'm like, that is a picture moment. It really is, because it's not often.
I'm not going to summarize my snow thrower, Yeah.
Right.
So I love this topic because I came out of a mentality that had so indoctrinated me. Talking about Earth, is Earth really a penal colony? Is it a prison planet? And that leads into reincarnation. How do you escape? Has there everyone ever been escaped? We come in now to this matrix. I was telling y'all right before we went live, you see, the problem is how they indoctrinate us into this reward punishment. We are slaves. The book of Genesis says that, the Quran says it, the Vedic says it. Every belief, you will see that man is lower, man is nothing more than a slave creature. And they permeate us with this, and then we extend that over into the afterlife, because the only purpose for heaven or hell is for a slave. Heaven and hell is a slave mentality. Why? Because you have to give your allegiance to one or the other. If you don't give your allegiance and obedience to one, the penalty is you'll be giving yourself to the other.
Yeah, and you're still adopting duality. You're still sitting in duality. And until you can become whole, you're still split or divided.
And that gets us to Marsha, where you had your thoughts. Kind of let us lead into this. What gave you begin to thinking more and more? Because after you study so much, you're going to say, but wait a minute, there's a pattern here. And it seems like we're in this loop.
There's a pattern, and then there's also so many holes in the story. It's hard to fit all the pieces of the puzzle together. But with all of my research, it leads me to believe that we are definitely in prison here. And I think against our will. It has to be. I mean, to me, why else would we have amnesia? I don't understand that. I don't get that. If we were asked or given a choice, a decision, then why can't we have our memories? Why can't we come here fully armed? I mean, I wouldn't send a soldier out into a battlefield unarmed. It's like, this place is a battlefield. I can tell you that.
I mean, you think about this whole concept that they wipe our memories and then they inject you back into, which is, I don't know, it's either an insane asylum or an amusement park or both on a sick side. Yeah. And you're, and I was on today with April and Jay over at Spiritually Raw. They're going to be on tomorrow. Lovely couple. And we were talking about this whole thing about, you know, what is mankind? I mean, who's really driving the bus here? Because I don't think we are. Marsha, is like you and I talked on the program, the Steiger Perspective this Thursday. So mankind thinks that it's above being supervised, that we're intelligent enough that we're running the show, and thank you, we don't need your help. I don't think that. And Marsha, you and I come from a Christian background, and the thing that always stumbled me was, and I can still remember this, Genesis 2:5, and it says that there was no man to work the soil, to till the soil. I don't know about y'all, but I've worked in the garden as a kid. I mean, that was like slave labor. To till the soil is not what a free man would do.
Yeah. In prisons, they have them doing work like that, hard labor.
Chain gangs. I remember down in Texas seeing the chain gangs out there.
Arizona too. We had them on the sides of the roads.
Yeah. Women chain gangs. Women out there.
Yeah. For real. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So there's no man to till the soil, so they made one.
That's a slave. That's a slave. And then the story just gets it from there. It's this whole story is contaminated because it's built in the fact that it covered up the one thing. We ain't here by our choice. So Marsha, you've done this, and I'd like to just kind of go through this as you were looking at this. You said that you believe that we are in a state of forgetfulness and amnesia, and I happen to be 100%. I believe that's exactly the case.
It's also says that in the Gnostic writings that we were put to sleep in a state of forgetfulness and distracted with all these things, like all the stuff here on earth, entertainment, gaining material wealth, distracts us and keeps us separated from spirit, my opinion. And that's the way it describes it in the secret book of John, in the Nag Hammadi.
Yep, I have it right over here. I mean, it's a conundrum because, here's my struggle on this. When I came out of the God spell, that's what I call it, did a whole series on it. In fact, that's what my book is actually based on, is the fact that when I think of the Christ, for me, I have to be very sure in my mind to separate what Christ was really doing, because if Christ was kin to Yahweh, Yaldabaoth, then wait a minute, this is not what we thought was potentially maybe a rescue, but it may be a betrayal.
But where did we get that? I've never read anything where Christ says he never associates himself with Yahweh or Yaldabaoth.
The only one passage I would know is where in the book of Matthew, where he went into the synagogue and picked up the book of Isaiah and gave forth the prophecy in Isaiah, I think it's 55, and said, this prophecy is fulfilled.
Okay.
And of course, that he was considered to be a rabbi. He followed the strict Jewish customs of the day, albeit I think he was more probably Hellenistic in his view than maybe, strict Hebraic, what you would call more the Sanhedrin or the Levitical priesthood side.
Yeah.
So and that's
or a scene. More a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's such a slippery slope because we're all trying to reach to the same, I guess, the same lock. I think we have the key. We're just trying to find the lock. I mean, isn't it true? People keep saying search the key. I think we've got the key. I think we got lots of keys. The
I
problem
do
is we
too.
don't have the right lock.
Hmm. Like I said, I think our level of consciousness is how those get there. And I think many now have unlocked that. And it's because of the way that you think. And because you have a comprehension that something's not right. And, you know, some of us like me, I have known that since I was a child. Something ain't right about this place. I just knew. I was like, something ain't right. I just knew.
Some of
So,
us came kicking
My
and screaming.
pastor and
right.
my pastor and Sunday school teachers did not like me at all because
I
I was,
bet not.
if they would be telling these Bible stories, I always had lots of questions. Don't question God. So,
Can't
Right.
do that. Yes,
Right.
that's a sin. You
I
can't do
can't
this.
help it. I just keep having these questions.
Well, I like this one coming from this point of view because, Marsha, I believe that I think we are the divine ones.
Hmm.
I really do. And let's take the contamination of the religion that came in and polluted the story. Let's just take the story that one of our kind came into this realm to do a rescue mission, and he or she appeared in many different forms. The one that we're most well versed with is the Christ consciousness.
And this is a perfect time to talk about it because it's Easter weekend, which is when this story took place.
Isn't that
I mean,
coincidental?
this is why I believe we're in a prison realm against our will, in a state of forgetfulness and amnesia. And these are questions that I've always pondered. Is the story about when Christ went to make a proclamation to imprisoned spirits. I mean, imprisoned spirits. Why are spirits in prison? And
Right.
Oh,
how?
and you start thinking about what kind of a prison is this?
I mean, and how? What kind of technology does that require to imprison a spirit? I
Right. And
mean,
then the references of the physical about being the bond servant, and our birth certificates go on bond paper. It's so crazy.
That's what freaks me out. I'll be candid with you because my mind, it's pretty out there. And when you begin to think about the intelligence level of, and I think that this is both a physical and spiritual prison, the
Yes.
complexity of it is, wow. I mean, it's
Yes.
not a heaven, it's not a hell. I think we got to get that out. This is something much different.
Bigger.
Is that where you're thinking, Marsha?
yes.
I thought so. I had that feeling as well.
And we don't have, like I said, we don't have to read all this, but in First
No,
Peter,
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
okay. So in First Peter 3, I'll just read the scripture. For Christ also hath once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. So I looked up this word. The original Greek word used is word number 5438, Fuleg. I think that's pronounced right, which means a guard, watch. So this place where he went to preach to the spirits is a prison where they're being guarded over, watched. So
This falls in line as well with the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
That, when you go before, is it Horus that you go before?
Anubis.
Anubis. And, he weighs your heart as to whether or not it can balance the feather, as I understand. But the point is, if you don't make the grade, you're going to a place that is exactly that. It's watched over, it's guarded. And yeah.
So yeah, the usage for this word, a watching, keeping guard, a guard, prison, imprisonment. So
I like how
And
it
we
comes
hear,
up, part of the speech of it is also the feminine.
mhm. And we've always heard about the watchers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is very interesting.
Mhm.
According to scriptures, the spirits in prison were angels, and Jesus proclaimed triumph to the fallen angels. I mean, weren't you taught that in church, that those were the fallen angels, the bad ones, the disembodied spirits? That's what I was always taught, and whether that's true or not, I don't know. So research has led me to believe we are possibly the fallen angels cast to earth by the great dragon during the war in heaven.
I remember Lester Summerall, one of my Bible teachers, and he really got into the fact that it's lost knowledge that we don't know our originations, because if we are made in the image of God, then that would then fulfill Hebrews 1:12 through 14, that it says that we are in fact higher than the angels. We were created as higher beings.
Yeah.
And that would imply that if we're higher than an angel, then the only place that we would fit in the realm would be in the realm of an archangel, into that
Yes.
classification.
Yes.
And there's one, I don't know if it's the Nag Hammadi or which book it is. It's one of the ones that aren't in the Bible, where he talks about Adam being this beautiful angel, this body of light before he fell.
Yes. Yes.
Lilith says the same thing.
Yes.
The autogen of the first man, the
You know,
first
it's
Adam.
interesting too. We talk about Lemuria, and for most, that's the most far back that any of us can kind of have any grasp to, is the Lemuria and the Mu. And Lemuria, literally, if you translate that back to ancient Greek, it literally means ghost, light body.
And so that's what I think of as spirits. I think of ghosts.
I kind of do too.
I have a hard time understanding how you can imprison a ghost or a spirit.
And that brings up another question now that we're getting, because this is all so relevant. I mean, we now have the technology where we can capture these energy forms, and we can capture them in many different forms. Many times we can now hear into the ethereal, the radio waves that we didn't have access to, and they're talking.
I think it's a sound is how they cage the spirit. It's a sound.
Alien interview, how she said that they're trapped, like there's an electromagnetic field, another prison around this.
What if
detects biological beings, spirits, anything trying to leave here, it can detect.
I just got one hell of a download. But Marsha, you triggered it. So let's go with an electromagnetic, right?
Yeah.
Hear me out on this, folks. Follow me on this. And when you triggered it, it's because I had read the book Alien Interview. And so I hear Ariel talking. So it's an electromagnetic field. But what's happening right now? The Earth is losing its electromagnetic field. And as we go closer to the eventual pole, the magnetic tilt, that is when maybe we can leave.
Right. That's yes. Because magnet field, magnetic, it's magnet.
It's fluctuating.
It's the net, and it's the net that holds you in, and it's electro, Elohim, false gods, light. It's all that false light stuff.
That might explain their rush. That that was one of your questions, Wayne. Is what's the rush? That might explain their rush.
It would, wouldn't it? I mean, when you seriously, that was a moment I was carried away, and someone is shouting, "Look at what's going on!" I know. I mean, this is something I've been tracking for about a decade now. I've been with Ben Davidson for about that long. Wow. I never occurred to me that we would see a correspondence into the spirit realm that is still tagged to this realm. But when the magnetic shifts, weakens, collapses, the freaking
That's
gates
we
open.
win. We win because
Well, I think it's only going
we
to be
win.
those who are going to be aware.
They're going to have to be able to tune into the new signal, the new radio station, because if you're still stuck in the lower vibration, you're still anchored into that sound that traps you and binds you and keeps you down. You have to get above it. You have to create a new signal. And once we can lock into these new signals, these new higher rates of vibration, because this field is dropping, it's falling apart. I do think that's how we get free. And I think that's how we get to the fifth dimensional reality. It's literally going to be the release of this field and anchoring into a new sound, a new light, a new vibration. And it's going to code everything differently. And it's not going to happen instantly. Like I was shown, it would be gradual. We wouldn't really see it all at once. It would just gradually anchor in.
Well, if you're coming to San Francisco, make sure to wear a flower in your hair. It's a new vibration, moving a whole generation. That's what Scott McKenzie's words were.
Wow.
Anyway.
Yeah, we win.
Well, I'm going to do and this is interesting. I'll have to give you credit to it, Marsha, because it never occurred to me that it's no more than the difference of an electrified fence. If the current is broken in any way, the fence goes down. But if you are so well trained and indoctrinated, you're not going to test the fence.
Yeah, exactly. And I've spoke about my near-death experience before. I didn't see the tunnel of light. I was dark. I saw darkness, but it was peaceful. I wasn't afraid, but there were many lights off in the distance. So I wonder if those are portals, and maybe I need to pick one and go.
This is uncanny because y'all, Marsha, you and Trina didn't even hear the conversation I was having because I did a show this morning with April and Jay, and it's odd that you said that because I told them, when you pass over, do not go to the light, resist it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they're going, but everyone says go to the light. And I said, but that's the machine.
It is. I think you guys are absolutely right. And that darkness that you're going into, that's the womb. You're going back into the womb of the mother, which is all potential. So you're kind of, you're free. I really think you're free because you are in the womb, which means you have opportunity. And like Marsha said, I think I might have needed to pick one of those points of light. I think that's exactly what happens. Yeah, really. So when you're not recycled, you literally get to choose.
I'm getting the hell out of here.
Young, so inexperienced, and something was pulling me back, called my parents.
Right.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I told myself, I don't think I'm supposed to be doing this. I need to go back to my parents. Oh, go back one.
Go back one.
Yeah. Wait.
This one?
Let me see which one I'm on. So supporting scriptures for understanding the spirits in prison are angelic beings and not humans or people is thought to be confirmed by 2 Peter 2:4-5 and Jude 6, which refer to rebellious angels punished by God with imprisonment. So when I read the Bible now, I always think, like, is it God the demiurge, or is it God the uncreated God, the source? So I mean, I always have to think, which God is it talking
That's
about?
my struggle because, on my wall, I have 1 Corinthians 13:4-8. And the thing is, when you get the revelation of this, the rhema of it, that's when I told me that can't be this God here, because perfect love takes no account of any sin committed.
Yeah.
So what's going on here? And it's like they're playing this psychological game with us. We're the fallen ones. I have no doubt of this. I think we fell into a trap.
Yeah, but I don't think the fall was because we sinned, ate some fruit. I don't think it's that at all.
I think it was magnetic, like it says, magnetic. I literally think it was a magnetic that pulled, like it says, the dragon's tail swooped and took down with it. that's what I see. It's some type of a magnet, like a net, like they caught fish. And what's the fisher of men and all this fish and the net stuff? It's so obvious.
What if the dragon's tail is actually a galactic war?
Yes, could be, Wayne. I wondered
That we were captured as a result of this galactic war.
I think that's exactly what it is.
I did a huge study on that, the War in Heaven, and there were 2 casting out of angels. First one was the dragon, out of anger. He was angry and he just took his tail, swooped as many as he could. The Bible says a third of them. And then the second set was when Michael and, the dragon fought, and he cast him and it would have been his soldiers, warriors, or whatever, to earth. So you got the first set, and it says he cast them to earth. When you look up that word cast, the original word, it was like you throw something without caring what
slinging
happens.
it out.
Yes.
Where it
that's
goes,
what it means.
what happens to it. You're just like,
throwing it away.
Yeah. And then, when I think of Lilith's side of that equation, that battle was as she said, it was a sabotage. It was an attack. And again, it's just a matter how you interpret this, because my mind is now seeing this not limited to Earth.
Right.
But we're talking something here that is galactic on a Milky Way scale.
Correct.
Yep. And, it wasn't hell. He didn't cast them down to hell. It says, for God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell. The original word is Tartaros. That's the deepest abyss of Hades. And that the Nag Hammadi backs this up, coincides with the Nag Hammadi, where man was put in a state of forgetfulness, amnesia, and cast to the lowest realm on earth, which is the material realm.
The third dimension.
Where he's get distracted with all this crap that's going on here in the Matrix.
I'm going to tell you all a story of a woman who, she was a seer back in one of the churches I was into. And this was really in the Appalachia. This was strong Pentecostal. But anyway, the prophecies, when you have a prophetess or a prophet in a church, they can be very accurate about what they're saying. And anyway, she told me, she said, she just looked at me and she said, a warrior spirit you have been, a warrior spirit you shall always be.
Yeah. Touche.
I mean, now the woman was blind.
Yeah.
So was she seeing what is essence, what a lot of us are? I mean, if we're captured in here, the only way you're going to be captured is, number one, you're a victim or a casualty of war.
POW, babies.
Exactly.
POWs.
We are POWs. We are prisoners of war.
No one's choose to go to prison.
No.
To be incarcerated, you have to be drugged to prison.
Although I think modern philosophers may argue that point. In fact, humans usually go to their slaughter very voluntarily without ever saying a word.
Yeah.
It's just one of the things about us. But then so this triggers, I told you we wouldn't get through your PowerPoint, because this triggers another thing. So you have those of us who will say, I'll be damned if I'm going to go down with a whimper. And you have that tenacity, where you have others who say, okay, so are we talking about those of an elite group? And then you have the other group that were basically the civilians. Casualties of war. In this case, assets. Because I think each one of us are very, very valuable. That's why they're fighting to keep us in this prison.
Yes. And when Marsha said about Michael and his angels, I think some of us also too, that weren't captured in the original, we came down to rescue some of our fellow brothers and sisters. So there's both of us here now. Because I think
y'all got stuck.
I think that's exactly what happened. But for whatever reason, I think that we kind of understood that could be a potential. So, but we knew that when the magnet field gets destroyed, we'd all be able to go back home. It was not a problem. Time is irrelevant there. So with that, you're thinking, oh, you're going to go down there and get stuck maybe for 26,000 years. We're like, hey, cool. That's a blink of an eye. Not a big deal.
I kind of went over this. The use of two different words, like Tartarus, Tartaru, and then it uses a different word to describe where Christ went, which is Phile, which means a prison. Well, also it can also be Anglic, which is Philes. So supports 1 Peter 4:6 supports the belief that in the 3 days between Christ's death and resurrection, he visited the spirit world. And this set in motion the work of teaching the gospel to those who didn't receive it during mortality. They only received it after they died, the physical death. So for that reason, that's why it was preached to those who are now dead. So I don't know about.
It kind of goes with, Abraham. I mean, the Jews, the first Hebrews, they didn't believe anything. They believed that when you died, you went to sleep and that was it. You're not, but then that began to change as more particular after Peter, not Peter, who was the boy genius, who was the 33 AD?
David?
No. The Conqueror. God, why can't I remember his name? I mean,
Constantine?
No.
Okay, I can't think of it either.
333 AD, BC. Peter the Great. Was it Peter the Great? No.
Interesting. In 1 Peter 4:6, it uses the word theos for God, not Yahweh.
That's Greek. That's not Hebraic. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Alexander the Great. Thank you. Just came to my mind. So what Alexander did to the whole Judea, Palestine area was that when he conquered that, he basically Hellenized the whole region. And many will argue that today we don't know what the ancient Hebrews really did worship because the writings were merged into the theos of what Alexander's God was, and that was the Greek God. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, I digress, Marsha. You know this was happening.
So therefore, I can conclude from these canonical biblical scriptures that at some time between Christ's death and resurrection, Christ also visited a place referred to as prison, where he delivered a message to spirit beings in a lower realm on earth. So I just wonder if that was a one-time portal opening, or, Christians believe that he conquered death and it's just for all time and always. So was it just for that time, that specific time, or we have to find that portal?
It's the conundrum is that, we're dealing with literature that has been rewritten. And there are those who say that we will never understand what the scriptures are because they were never meant to be understood. But I happen to think as well that words are words. Words contain meaning. Meaning contains energy. Energy becomes what we adapt to as our beliefs. So, go ahead.
What if that was about the beliefs that were being taught in Egypt about the underworld? So if he went down and to set the captives free, and I could see that would be him going down into the underworld and teaching them, you're only stuck here because you believe you are. Wake up.
I'll bring out some history here. So there's a book out there called The Search, and it's by Dr. Rose, I believe. I have it right around the right around here because I referred to it quite often. So in his research of coming to find out who this person was, this Christ, who was Mary, who were the family members. So there is a alternate story to this, that this child who Mary knew, she was her uncle was who was the guy that had the tomb? Um,
Tut?
who? Marsha?
I thought it was Joseph's of Aramaic.
Yes, it was. Thank you. That was Jesus's uncle.
Yes.
And he was very wealthy. He controlled all the mining interest of the Roman Empire. So when the Jesus that everyone thinks about, when his father, Joseph, died, he did die in a construction accident because he was never a carpenter. He was a stonemason.
Wow.
Because wood was very rare in Judea, even in then. But stonemasons was what everything was built out of. So the story goes that Mary went to Joseph. He took Jesus and Mary down to Egypt. And there they stayed for about 10 years. And Jesus went to school of all the high priest schools of the hidden mysteries. This was his initiation. Then Joseph and Mary and Jesus went to Britannia and went up there because Joseph of Aramea was looking after the mineral rights as the Romans were capturing Britannia. And it wasn't until later that he went back to Judea, and this is where he met his demise.
Wow. That's interesting.
That would make more sense to me, because there was money, but there was so much going on in those times with the whole religion.
We don't want
stuff.
to think about this. So that they've sanitized the story, but this is what his research proved. And it's what the Muslims believe. That's why the Catholics believe that Jesus and Lucifer are brothers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He kind of showed me.
I love
that
this
once.
conversation. I know, Marsha, it's a little bit off the PowerPoint, but it's so interesting.
There's two more that I want us to discuss.
What was that on?
There's just two more, or one more thing that I want to discuss, and then we can just
Sure. What is it, honey?
What is it that Christ proclaimed to the imprisoned spirits? In Colossians 2:35, he told them that he disarmed the rulers and authorities, the archons. When you look at that word, it's archons.
Yes.
And put them to open shame by triumphing over them in him. He freed the captives, imprisoned spirits, and took them with him when he ascended. When he ascended on high, he led a host of captives, and he gave gifts to men. What are these gifts?
And it says, I think, as well, that he, in Colossians, is that he took the note that was held hostile against us and wiped it clean.
He showed them how to rescind these stupid contracts.
Colossians is an interesting book. It really is. I did a whole thesis in Colossians because it's a strange book when you get into it.
So, yeah. I always wondered, when it talks about casting these angelic beings, these spirit beings down to earth, which is the material realm. I mean, what happens to these beings when that happens? It has to be traumatic. It's probably when we're born or something. I don't know.
Did you ever see the movie The Prophecy with Christopher Walken? He plays Gabriel.
Yes.
Oh, years ago. Yeah.
That's a profound movie. Whoever wrote that movie was really very knowledgeable into angelic knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have the DVD because in the cave, remember when they went into the cave? That is actual angelic script.
Yeah.
So the belief is, according to the Catholics, is that there is a class of beings down here that they're in torment here because this is not They say physically they're in torment.
I
So
think spirit beings are very miserable in matter, confined in matter.
yes,
They don't know what to do with it. They don't want to be in it. I think that's why a lot of people turn to drugs and alcohol while we're here on Earth.
it's
Mhm.
self-medication. We've done it since the very beginning.
Mhm.
I mean, they found honey beer. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of years old people, and they were smoking marijuana back then. I mean, I
There's
have no
stories
doubt.
about the Sumerian gods getting drunk and having
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
sex. And yeah, I mean, this goes back as far as we have records.
This
So,
is such an
yeah.
interesting.
And if it's such a great place here, why was the dragon, Satan, whatever this being is, why was he so angry when he realized he was cast to earth? He knew he was trapped here. So,
And so I expand that out because I can't believe that the whole universe is predicated on such a narrow perception. But I can't deny the reality that I'm in it. So
Right.
there has to be something else here. And I've contended this. When I used to, you know, cast demons out, um, the only one, and I remember was really pretty bizarre, is that a true spirit who is not used to these bodies will exhibit strange behaviors because they don't know how to deal with the sensory overload. The overload comes into them so fast because it's taken us decades to learn how to tame all these sensory inputs. And that when
Yes.
a demonic, and they're not demonic, they're lost spirits.
Mhm.
They really are. And some have never been in a human body before.
they won't in a human body. That had to do with my dream. I told you I've been having very lucid dreams. It was more than one that was wanting my avatar. And that stuff
Yes.
like that used to terrify me when I'd have sleep paralysis. I was not terrified, boy. I was fighting them. I said, "No, you can't use this body while I'm using it. You can't have it." I was not afraid, and I battled them.
Good for you.
This is such because it deals in a sense of reality that the real world doesn't want to acknowledge, but yet they do. I mean, it's everywhere. And I was listening to one, oh, it wasn't Begley, it was another cat, but they're convinced that there has been a doorway open and that we are being inundated with demons.
I
That's
feel
the
it.
download I got when I had this dream. I woke up and it's like some kind of portal or gate has been opened, and we've been flooded with these beings, these dark beings that want to possess, they want to have a body, a flesh
Not,
body.
and I literally saw that they were able to activate an entrance somehow with these chemical things and that magically fly in the sky. That it was
You know what,
connected.
folks? If the fence is going down because the
Uh-huh.
electromagnetic field of Earth is going down, well, wait a minute. If what's inside can get out, that means what's outside can get in.
Yes. Yes.
Oh crap! And then I'm going to have Dr. Safarari on, and his whole contention is that this is a negative realm. These are actually angelic beings of a negative realm. They have been they're they would be the opposite of what we are.
You know, like there were two castings out. There was
Yes.
the angels, the spirit beings that did not want to be here. It was against their will, and the ones that were bad that were fighting, the good. And there is good and bad, I guess, in that war. So,
This is
yeah.
very interesting because I'm telling you, it may not sound it, but folks, there is a coherent underlying roadmap being laid out here for us.
It's interesting. I keep seeing the military as you guys are talking, and it's like if some of us got drafted, pulled without choice, and some volunteered, and after the war was over, there were POWs. And then there were also people who now committed themselves to the military branches to fight what had happened. This is like so military, what I'm seeing. It's like on a massive cosmic scale, though, all about military.
Some would say that those in positions of government power are not human.
I would agree.
That we're seeing a non-human agenda being rolled out here, and it's steamrolling all of us.
Or
Um,
it's the dark ones that inhabit those particular.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. This is a
Yes.
true story. I was part of a group that we had direct access to all of those individuals. There have been a couple I met that I knew that they were not the same on the inside.
Absolutely.
Shook their hands, and Lynn saw it. There was this bright, there was this momentarily like a spark, and I knew immediately. And this was a very famous senator, and I had to get, the fucking energy was such of an intensity, it drained me like that.
Yep. Yep.
And my face went completely ashen. And, you know, Lynn and I had to go walk, and we had to, because we were in a very exclusive place. But yeah, that's
Mhm.
when that was my introduction to not all that what seems to be is right. It's, excuse me for dropping the F-bomb, but I relive that moment over and over again. And it did something psychically to me. I mean, it's when you
Yep.
realize it, it's no longer just hyperbole or hypothesis, it becomes reality.
You know what, Wayne? Get rid of that charge. Hold that information and keep the identification code, but let go of that charge.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've done the
It's
work.
powerful.
It's not that easy though, Trina. I'm telling you,
I
when
know.
you get
I was like, I know. Oh boy.
these are real.
Those
All
are
right.
those moments you can't, like, they're like they happened right now. They're just so imprinted because they're so powerful.
That's why I left politics.
Powerful. I bet. Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I know.
Yeah.
I am still so freaked out about the change in Biden's appearance.
Yeah, right.
What the hell is that? What is that?
Can I say this? Botox? I'm just kidding.
No, he has no soul. You do not see the light in his eyes. He used to have bright blue eyes, and now he has dark black eyes, like those black-eyed children that people talk about. No pupil. It's solid black.
That is also evidence of a drug.
Really?
Lynn pointed that, yes, there is a drug for mentally deteriorating patients with dementia. And it's interesting because when she saw that, she said, he's on that drug. And it's not accessible to the public. It's very expensive, and it's, you're right. But I told her, I said, he is not the only one in that elevator.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
I mean, when I saw the CNBC interview and they did a reverse of the image, and the dude's wearing a mask.
Wow. Some weird stuff going on.
You know, it's some powerful magic. I mean, there is some stuff going on, folks, that
you know what I keep seeing is that this is something about sensors. If they can shut down your sensory, it's easier for them to get control of the body.
Well, I've noticed the people that have taken the vaccine, they have a different look in their eyes.
Oh, shoot.
I'm working, like, I got one on each side of my station at work.
You know, sometimes
I am too.
It gets sometimes the feeling like the invasion of the body snatchers. You know, it's like, that's not my husband. Well, yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. You know, it's like, oh crap. Well, something
you know how this cage is breaking, Wayne, and now I know that there's now that you can get free. I know that this is what's going on. I wonder if that has put a cage back into position for those avatars, so that way they can't get out now that the cage is broken, but now they've put a new cage inside to keep them.
I sent Wayne this article by Rudolf Steiner
I have it. Is that one this morning?
Yes.
I can pull it up real quick. It's a mind blower, folks.
Like the meme where it just talks about how he says that they will come up with a vaccine in the future. And this was written in 1917, by the way.
Here it is, right
Wow.
here. The fall of the spirits of darkness.
But he says, I have told you that the spirits of darkness are going to inspire their human host in whom they will be dwelling to find a vaccine that will drive all inclination towards spirituality out of people's souls when they are still very young. And this will happen in a roundabout way through the living body.
Wow.
Is October 27th, 1917.
This is a heavy article too, and I'll put it in the description box.
I listened to it, but he's got a lot of lectures.
Yes, he does. But he was, I think, this is just my opinion. I think he was a time traveler. I really do. His work is too profound. It's like the woman that, folks, listen Thursday night, because I don't want to get another community thing on here.
Yes.
It's obvious that we can't talk about this subject anymore, and it's a shame, but there is something going on. That's all I can say.
I posted, if you're friends with me on Facebook, I did post the article, but I'm in jail now, so I can't comment on it.
It's getting really, really dangerous out there. And it's like yesterday. The AI algorithm was apparently not listening as much as it was reviewing the frames, what was being shown. And in the case yesterday, I was just showing pictures of Earth. And so the algorithm thought that I was somehow, because I spent so much time on different pictures of the Earth, that I was somehow speaking of flat Earth.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And I don't think they care if you talk about flat Earth.
Oh yeah, they do. That's a big
do.
one right now. That's a big one.
They'll slap
don't
you
even
on it.
go there. Yeah, can't even. Don't even say it. Yeah, yeah. The list of what is not okay. We don't even know how big that is, and it's just growing daily, and we have no idea
It's
what it is.
weird.
I don't get into that anymore because I can't prove it one way or the other. I can't get up there high enough to prove it one way or another. So,
well, the thing that got me was that it wasn't even about that. It was about dealing with a philosophical question on negative realm entities, and it's like, geez, come on, folks.
It's crazy. Afraid to open your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, because the next thing you know, you're getting this and that, and it's
frustrating.
It is, and someone has said that it's time to look at other platforms. I think it is.
I do too.
Yeah, this is just, when because for me, that's ridiculous. I mean,
the only way, and it's unfortunate, but the only way to say that this is not okay is to literally stop supporting it. And I think that's kind of where we're at, because boy, we've been hanging in a lot longer than a lot of others, but it's like, yeah, I think all of us who want to talk the way we want to, we're going to have to come together on a different place.
Well, I think what Flat Earth with me, I had the privilege of talking to Gene Cernan for 2.5 hours on a flight. We sat next to each other, and so when you've actually talked to the last man who physically on the record stood on the moon, and you get his point of view, you find out that we're not alone. We're not. This planet is a highly valued asset, and we're not the ones that are in control. That's who I want to find out. As we wrap this up, I want to know who the guards are.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I really do. And if it's a prison, that means then there has to be a warden, right?
I do. I think I think all the clues are kind of there. If you look at Sirius, Orion, Draconian, Reptilian,
yeah.
Yeah. And then, up to the, they talk about those other families. They've got the coin, the Abraxas and stuff like that. So this might be what we're
In the
looking at.
Matrix 5 of Valdemar's books, he said it's the reptilians who brought religion here.
I think it
They're a
might be
species.
their doctrine. I think
Yeah,
that
it's a
might be
species.
their doctrine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their doctrine for
Mixed.
us.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I
They
think
are.
that they wrote that to keep us in line.
Like Ariel said, they don't believe in this God or religion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, what
They made it
God?
up for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, and here's where we come full circle, because we have this awakening now. You know, it's like someone says, God bless me, and I go, which God?
Right.
You know?
Do that too. It makes them so mad.
I know it. And they go, well, what do you mean, which God?
There's only one God.
And
Right.
now when I challenge them, I said, okay, all right, I'll say bliss more than bless, but I said, could you please take me to the scripture in the New Testament that actually names this Christian God?
Uh-huh.
I had someone tell me recently, and then they,
Oh,
this was,
I had someone say, Satan, get thee behind me.
I mean, it was like,
anything but laugh.
wow, you talk to your mama, you talk to God with that mouth?
What?
Yep.
You know what?
It's
You know
like,
what Jesus said? He said, Beelzebub cannot cast out Beelzebub.
exactly. It's
Right.
like, whoa, man. All right. You know, it's like throttled down a little bit.
Calm down. Just showing you what's in your book. I didn't write it.
Exactly.
Right. Not my words, theirs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Marsha, Trina, this is a true story. When I was developing the first mobile giving app, this was back in 2009, and I was going around churches around the country to show them the future, you know,
Mhm.
saying that, you know, of course, mobile giving was something that was that I was in a church. This this really happened. Met with their council, right? And I had this old elderly guy stand up. You are a money changer. And you got the spirit of Antichrist. We ought to get rid of you right now. And I went, oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, when you already been called the son of Satan, you go, peace, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What you got
Anyway.
next?
All right, ladies, this has been fun. Marsha, will you come back on again?
Yes, let's do.
This is so much
Absolutely.
I mean, this is just fantastic, because this is my takeaway. We're in a prison, but I'll tell you what, I think they're filming The Great Escape again, and it's starring us.
Yeah.
This
I
whole,
think so too.
yes, I really do. You know, and so in my world, as they're filming it, you know, I have both of you all as my co-star with many others, because, you know, I'm leading the jailbreak. You know, that's just
Yeah.
my world. Now, in your world, you're probably leading it, and I'm going, what can I do for you? You know?
No, I'm like Target Wayne's Beach. Hello.
Hey,
Bring on some music and relaxation. I think we've been working for a long time.
yep.
And I think it's about time to
When you
stop
cross
being
over,
slaves.
and if you happen to hear, we've been having fun all summer long. No, this is the right place. Just swoop on in. You're flying. Just think about it, and you'll be there. And we'll hand you a
Yeah.
beverage. We'll give you a Mai Tai, or what's your
Yeah.
favorite drink, Marsha?
Gosh, I used to drink. I forgot. I haven't drank in so long.
Well, it's been a while
What is it with the mint?
Oh, a mint
Nice.
julep?
No, not. It's
Oh.
not mimosas.
I know what you're talking about. With the crushed mint leaves in it. A mojito. Mojito.
Oh yes.
Mojito.
Mojito.
Okay,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Mine is a strawberry daiquiri with amaretto instead of rum. You can't even taste any alcohol. It's
Ooh,
wonderful.
That is really cool.
Oh, it's so wonderful. You can't even taste any alcohol. It's, yeah. You trade out the rum for the amaretto. Oh, it's sweet and delicious and oh, yummy.
See, I love those drinks with little umbrellas. Mai Tais are mine. I really enjoy Mai
Yes,
Tais.
yes.
You drink two of
Mhm.
those and you're saying, oh, Mai Tai.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes. Oh, this has been fun.
Yes.
All right. So to stop by the island, the beach, it'll be fine.
Absolutely.
Well, let's see. Trina, you're on what, Friday night with the Andromeda
With
7 group?
yep, A7, and Wednesday night they're doing a show as well. So Wednesday Andromeda 7, Friday Andromeda 7, Saturday Milky Way Soul Tribe, and then Tuesdays with Wayne.
Far out. Marsha, I've
It is
already done
far
this
out.
is like number 2 with you over the last
Yes.
2-3 days. This is
Yeah, I've been active. Let's see, I was on Saturday. This is unusual for me. It's a little
I like
difficult
what you're
for me to do
bringing.
late night shows.
I know you're just getting off work, and I appreciate that. I mean, I
Mhm.
want you back on because I think this is going to become more and more relevant.
We can't rip a veil off if we can't see what the potentials that we need to get free of are. I mean, we've been so snowed, we don't know where we might be trapped in this crazy magnetic snow globe, but the things are changing. And with that, there is an opportunity for, I think, massive change, meaning many can break free. So this could be it, guys. Yeah. This could really be it.
Determined to. I will figure this out.
Me too.
Well, listen, when we get the mystery school built, and whether it's going to be here or in the next realm, who knows? Brian may be over there already laying out the.
It's so funny, Wayne. I just heard that song he just did. We won't get fooled again.
I love it. I love it. Who's next? I love it. But this will be part of the things that we'll be able to really talk about. I think when you get into groups of people where the discussion is, an exchange of ideas, it's amazing what really becomes the gnosis that comes out of that. Because I think we're onto something. So, Marsha, what I'm saying, you're going to be part of the historical document group.
Yes, I would love to be part of the research team.
Yes. I mean, it's just a fact. It's just a fact,
Love research.
Who are we going to make to be the head person? Do we need? I always think of that. You had the headmaster, the headmistress.
Be you, Wayne.
I don't know. I don't mind driving the bus, but I'm like you. Administration work sucks.
Totally.
That's a prison sentence there.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. I just got out of the damn place. Well, guess what?
I think all the new successful stuff is going to be group collaborations. I do see that's the new wave, the new trends. It's going to be trinities and 12s. And yeah, I see these powerful groups coming together.
I got the answer, folks. We're going to build and create thought forms.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be their passion, is to help assist in the research. That's all they want to do.
Yep.
Then someone says, well, isn't that how humans started? Just to do the work. Well, thank you, everybody. We really went over. Marsha, do you want to say anything before we go? I tell you, I just adore you and appreciate you, and your energy and your knowledge is like, hey, listen, I'll hitch up my wagon anytime to your team of horses.
Well, thank you, Wayne. And I feel the same way about you and everybody in this group. I learned so much from everyone here.
See this?
Every time we get together.
This is banana nut bread. I made it.
Yum.
Yeah, I can't get, there we go. It smells really good. So this is what I'll do when we get together. I'll help bake the first batch of banana nut bread.
Wonderful.
And while I have you, Marsha, keep her word. So Trina, I want to tell you, I am a now firm convert of the foot spa.
I am so glad, Wayne.
All I got to tell you folks, this stuff, now this is just one I buy. There's many of them out there. So this will be day 5. And I've got to tell you, the transformation has been interesting because your body, folks, y'all could probably talk on this more than I can, but it's a rather revelation when you actually see it. Your body expunges certain toxins, different colors at different sessions.
Yep.
And, so day 5 will be today. And
Excellent.
I got to tell you, it works. I mean,
It does, right? I'm so glad, Wayne. I'm so glad. That is so wonderful.
It's
Don't you
some of
feel
the
different?
grossest stuff that comes
Yeah.
out of you.
Yes.
My
People
goodness.
are apologizing when they're watching this stuff. And I'm like, no, that's good. Better out than in. This is great. The grosser it is, the more stuff came out. I love it. It's
Lynn looked
awesome.
at me and she said, I've been kissing that.
Right.
And then when she did her foot, and I said, uh-huh, talking
Back
about
at you,
me.
baby.
So anyway, I
I
am
love
a
it.
firm believer in this.
Yes.
It's an investment. I know you can get them on Amazon.
Yep.
All I got to
Yes.
tell you, if you have the ability to do it, do it. I mean,
Yes.
so I just wish.
Ionic foot baths, guys.
Yes.
They're not just like pedicures. They're ionic foot baths, and they have equipment in them, and they pull stuff out of the body through an ion exchange. And how is it good for you?
And by the way, like I said, we now have the color charts, so we know the heavy metals to it actually helps cleanse the liver, the
Pancreas,
kidney.
gallbladder,
Yes,
kidneys,
yes,
even
yes.
your eyeballs. It's wild. Yes. Lymphatics.
So I'm just telling you, this is good.
I'm so glad you did it.
Marsha, stay with us. We'll talk. You really need to get this. All right, folks. Much love to everybody. We'll see you tomorrow with April and Jay. And then I think Friday will be the card day. Marsha, I'm going to have you back on. Just want to let you know that.
Right on.
All right. Will you agree to that? Yeah. She just say you agreed to that?
Oh, I definitely agree.
Okay. I got the consent. All right. All right. Much love, Soul Tribe. We will see you